You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 8687.
Oh, let me tell you something. I am so sick of Washington and all its works and all them politicians down there and them congressmen. I'll bet you won't find none of them congressmen signing down their electric blankets tonight. Which if they did, their secretaries would get up and go home.
We gotta do something. Absolutely. You know what we gotta do? Toga party.
Toga! 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 Toga!
I want you to kill every golfer on the course.
Check me if I'm wrong, Sandy, but if I kill all the golfers, they're going to lock me up and throw away the key.
All right. It's Friday night, which means it's time for Robinson and Wright. We are right here live on KLRNradio.com, where liberty and reason still reign. We come to you every Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. Now, we do have an announcement to make because at request of management, due to the fact that it is summertime, we are going to go to our national news desk for a brief weather report. We'll be right back here in about 30 seconds.
Now, what's the weather like out there? It's hot. Damn hot. Real hot. Hotter than this is my shorts. I can cook things in it. Little crotch pot cooking. Well, can you tell me what it feels like? Fool, what is hot? I told you again. Were you born on the sun? It's damn hot. You can be...
All right, so that is not only an actual accurate weather report for where I am, and it's also an ode to the fact that when I got in my car this afternoon, it said 117 damn degrees. All right, so anyway, I am one half of the crew, Mr. Big Robinson. I'm joined by the other half of the crew, the sleep-deprived Mr. Dan Wright. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. How are you?
Well, it's Friday, and I'm actually kind of I've been looking forward to this show because, you know, there's been tons of news over the last several days, and I enjoy this show because you and I kind of just yell about the news. It's kind of what we do. It's our thing.
Oh, yeah. My situation started yesterday. Had a rough day at work, but was looking forward to last night. Had a little dinner party kind of get together to go to, and the girl that I guess I'm kind of seeing, we went to it together, and we had a good time, great time, and we're getting ready to go to bed, and phone call comes in. Her diabetic daughter that lives an hour and a half away was being rushed to the hospital with an alarming blood sugar count. So, last night we drove an hour and a half from here to there, hung out for a few hours, drove an hour and a half back, and I took a shower and went to work. And here we are.
So in other words,
I did have a funny little story about that.
Sure.
We're there and we're in her daughter's hospital room, and every time a nurse or somebody came in to draw blood or whatever, anybody came in, when they tried to explain what was going on, they talked to me. I've met her daughter once, but I was dad, and they talked to me, and everybody was kind of chuckling about it. It was pretty funny. Funny to the point where at one point I turned to my date, and I said, the curse of the patriarchy. Every bit of information that came from anybody medical in that hospital went straight to me, just assuming I was her father. It was kind of funny.
Nice. The curse of the patriarchy. It's a good thing she's not a feminist. She might have agreed with you and then kicked you in the nuts.
She's not a feminist, and you know I will never do that again.
Well, you know, you've everybody knows you've done it before, so, you know, just wanted to make sure you weren't falling into old habits or anything. All right, so anyway. I mean, I honestly, for tonight, I don't even really know where to begin. There have been so many weird things in the news. I kind of really don't want to start off with the big ticket item. So the one that I found the most entertaining was I heard a little rumor that Maxine Waters, or as I like to call her, James Brown and is apparently considering making a run for the White House in 2020.
Please.
So, wait, so hang on, because you know this is going to happen, because Hillary's already talking about trying to run again. You know Bernie's going to try it again. I mean, dude, all they need to, like, find one more geriatric person, and they can be the new transgendered Golden Girls. I mean, seriously. I mean, come on.
I want to see a debate stage with Hillary, Bernie, and Maxine. That would be awesome.
I hope there are hover-rounds and life alert buttons, because they're probably going to need them. Just saying. But, I mean, dude, and honestly, this kind of set... Believe it or not, that was completely ad-lib, but it almost fits perfectly with another little weird coincidence that I wanted to talk about, also revolving around the Democratic Party. So, I mean, they've already basically stolen one idea, so why not bring on one other old fart, come up with their, slogan for the primaries of we're the geriatric transgender Golden Girls of the new millennium or some crap like that, because, they already stole Papa John's slogan as their new Democratic slogan. The funny thing about that is there was like a hashtag game trending about that all day yesterday, and I really didn't know what it was about. I was just having fun with the hashtag. I got home this morning, this afternoon, and it was all over the news about everybody making fun of them because their new slogan sounded like they'd ripped it off from Papa John's. I mean, I know Hillary Clinton's a pizza fan. They kept showing all these pictures of her trying to be a regular American grabbing pizza when they were going to like steak joints and stuff. But you're really going to rip off your slogan from a pizza joint? Because it really does kind of sound like they did. And it was poll tested, which, were they maybe testing it with stripper poles? Because I don't know how else they would have been testing that. I mean, I don't know, because I know you've probably had pretty much as hectic of a couple of days as I have. So have you actually heard what their new slogan was?
Yeah, and I'm out of it, Rick.
Well, yeah.
I did, and I'm trying to think of it right now off the top of my head.
Actually, hang on. I can actually cheat for both of us, because I had it until you lost it, and then now I can't find it. So give me just a second, and we will cheat.
You can see how much I care about what their new slogan is.
Well, no, I mean, the funny thing, the thing about it is, it's freaking hilarious. So their new slogan, and pretty much everything that you pull up leads with the same headline. The Democrats' new slogan, and it sounds a lot like a pizza motto. Everybody's leading with that headline, which is friggin' hilarious. So their slogan, a better deal, better skills, better jobs, better wages. It literally sounds like they stole it from effing Papa John's.
Pretty much. And I love the better wages.
Yeah.
Better wages for less people.
Better wages for less people, where your paycheck looks bigger, but you still have less money, because that's how it always works. I mean, and that's what's driving me crazy, because no matter how bad things are in Washington right now, these people are a million times worse because they're more stupid. I mean, they literally think that they have the way to fix everything, and they fix nothing. They break everything they touch, and it's just amazing to me that they would. I mean, they were literally making a big deal about this slogan, telling everybody how they had polled a bunch of people, and this was the best thing they could come up with. And I'm just thinking, if I was the dude that ran Papa John's, I would probably be filing a lawsuit. Because, I mean, it's even got the same, how, like with a poem, there's like meter to it. So, you can, same kind of structure, sounds almost identical. It's like somebody literally took the way the Papa John's motto sounded and tried to make it the Democratic motto. And that's all you guys have after having your rear ends handed to you for the last 8 years in everything but the major elections. This is what you have. Is Papa John's motto.
They really honestly believe that they are morally superior to everybody and that they are still on top. For some reason, they don't have the White House. They don't have Congress. They don't have the Senate. They don't have the Supreme Court. They think they're on top of everything. But part of why they think that is because the House and Senate seem to like to roll over a little bit.
No. Let's clarify.
But they're not on top. If you go beyond national elections, they are getting cream all over the place. Absolutely cream. Not here in my state, but in most states, they're getting creamed. I mean, how many state and local elections have they lost over the last 8 years? It's like 1,000 or something.
Yeah, they've literally lost 1,000 seats across all 50 states.
Yeah.
Which now,
think they're on top.
Thanks to the shenanigans in my state, it's now 998 because they just won 2 special elections because too many of the guys in my state keep getting caught doing stupid crap and have to be removed. So they just held 2 special elections and they won both of those. So yeah, fun times. Oklahoma may be about to swing.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I really think that here in North Carolina, I really think that McCrory lost more than anything because of Trump. But, that's a whole different discussion.
Oh, no. We'll get to that, too. Just not right now. Because we've got lots to talk about with Trump, too. But actually, you know what? Just to kind of break things up a bit, and you haven't had a chance to hear this yet, so we're about halfway through the first part of the show. So I'm going to break things up just a bit. We actually have a new parody from the Third Rail Ramblers, and not only will it be running on quite a few shows over the next few days, it's actually going to be running all weekend over on CRN, on the shows that I do over there, because these guys are awesome, and I really want to do everything I can to push them because they really are great. Hang on, I realized that since I was using the same tool to play the other bit a second ago, I kind of have to reload it again, so give me just a second.
Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga.
I don't like what I'm seeing about me on TV. Girl, you just can't fantasize like Sean Hannity. When you scold me on the air at night or morning, Joe, covering this shite, I'm just gonna keep tweeting. I'm nigh on agreeing, straight to the bourgeoisie. Leaks or creep, that's dandy. You play it all the time. Mika's so bloodthirsty, and that show's so asinine. I get no love from you, girl, despite my sweet coiffure. Ego I'm projecting, 'cause I'm so mature. Fell just short of Hillary and Brown. Keep it up, girl, as your ratings bomb. I'm just gonna keep tweeting. I'm nigh on agreeing, straight to the bourgeoisie. So be revved up, a detached in tone with one gift, girl. All your minds are blown. I'm just gonna keep tweeting, and I ought to grieving straight to the bourgeoisie. I'm gonna keep tweeting. Straight to the bourgeoisie. I'm gonna keep tweeting, and I ought to dreaming. Straight to the bourgeoisie.
All right, folks, and that was the Third Rail Ramblers. Separately, they are Two Cynic Al on Twitter, and actually, what is Beaker's handle? He keeps changing it on me. But anyway, he goes by Beaker on Twitter, and I can't think of his handle right now. But together, they are the Third Rail Ramblers, and they are the KLRNradio.com parody house band. Yeah, that's right. What other internet?
That would be Polyfoam Pontiff.
That's it. Polyfoam Pontiff. If you're not following them, you really, really should be. They are awesome. And that is their most recent collaboration. And I have to point this out only because it's completely awesome. I don't know of any other internet radio station that has their own house parody band. I haven't found one yet. So I think that puts us a step above. I'm just saying.
No, and Beaker and Al are awesome. I mean, there's classics out there, absolute classics as far as I'm concerned.
Dude,
I had shows. There were shows I listened to religiously, but when I absolutely knew there was a new Third Rail freaking parody song, I was like, yes, it's going to be awesome. Everything they've ever done is fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's funny because with this the way the election cycle is broken up, and then all the left freaking out, songs that they had literally done 2 and 3 years ago were brand new again. We were playing them all over the place for like weeks, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they were like, "Don't tell anybody, but we're working on something." I was like, "What the hell you mean I can't tell anybody?" They're like, "No, it's a surprise. We want to surprise everybody." I'm like, "So you expect me to not tell anybody that the coolest parody group I know is actually working on something?" I've had to keep this quiet for a month, dude. You know how bad I am at keeping anything quiet. I'm just saying.
You did a good job, though.
I know. It's because I was told I would be murdered if I didn't. Nobody crosses the pontiff, dude. Nobody crosses the pontiff.
Oh.
But anyway, that was again their latest offering, and I'm just going to keep tweeting. Of course, it was an homage to Trump and his love of his phone. But yeah, I mean, honestly, really funny. I got a sneak peek of it like 3-4 days ago. I literally have probably listened to it 100 times. I'm not even lying, because it's just, the sad thing is I've listened to it so much. I was getting dressed for work this morning, and I'm like putting on my shirt, and I caught myself humming the chorus, and I'm like, holy crap, I've definitely listened to the song way too much when I'm singing it while I'm getting ready for work. But yeah, so I hope you guys really, really like it. I'm no longer sworn to secrecy, so I can tell you they are officially working on some more offerings, so stay tuned. And actually, I also encourage you, one of the Third Rail Ramblers has now started a show of his own. If you have not checked it out yet, I do encourage you to do so. It is the Hardcore Patriot. It typically airs, I know for sure it airs Fridays at around noon Eastern. I know he runs one other day, but for the life of me, I can't ever seem to remember what that one was.
I think it's Monday.
I think it was, yeah. I think you're right. I think it's Monday. I think he does them on Mondays and Fridays. All right. But anyway,
Al does a fantastic show, and everybody needs to check it out.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to the one from today yet, you really, really need to. I've already given away one secret because he promised I could, but there's another little gem hiding right there too. So you need to go check that one out from today. I promise you will not regret it. All right, so I think we've got just enough time to get into the one other major story before we take the break and then come back and talk about John McCain, because I figured that's probably going to take most of the rest of the show. But an interesting thing happened today. So apparently, now this is going to sound kind of like an odd question for someone who does political talk radio, but for the life of me, I can't ever remember an administration mentioning a communications director. But apparently Trump has appointed one today by the name of... Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? I'm sorry, it's actually pronounced Scaramucci, I think, but anyway. I don't know. Honestly, that was my idea. I'm just going to say this now. That was my idea from, like, first thing today when I heard it. And then I'm driving home going, dude, I got to grab that real quick. So I turn on local talk radio. And the first guy I listened to is using the same bit. And then I, like, okay, if he's doing it, the other guy's probably doing it too. So I turn over to the other local station. And sure enough, comes back from the break and he's doing the same thing. I was like, I don't know. I don't know how we can... I mean, maybe it's because I listen to them all the time, so maybe I'm starting to think like they do, which is kind of scary, but it was just weird because we all three had the same idea at the same time. And then I realized that they beat me to it by hours, and I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm doing it anyway. Anyway, so I've never actually heard anybody mention a communications director before. I've also never really seen a press secretary resign like a whiny little before either. Because that was just like the weirdest thing ever. He was just like, "Screw it, I'm out." If you're bringing in a communications director, that communications director should get a clean slate. Blah 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 blah. Yada yada yada. Translation: I'm tired of putting up with the press calling me fat, and I want to go home and eat a Twinkie. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Well, and I mean the worst thing about Spicer resigning is that Spicier is gone too.
I know.
So.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, that means that parody account's going to have to probably reset again at some point.
For anybody who's not listening right now that's not on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure most everybody is, but now the guy that ran the Spicier account is the guy that has pretty much run every parody account for every press secretary for as long as anybody can remember on Twitter. But there was something about Spicier. There was just something about it. I mean, he trolled perfectly. He would put out tweets and big, huge, massive freaking account.
Legitimate news organization.
They would be like, I can't believe the press secretary of the United States is saying this. And then he would come back with, yep, it's crazy, isn't it? Or something like that. I mean, he would play it so well. And, I mean, even his bio pretty much had a list of everybody he'd fooled in it. And they would still fall for it. It just cracked me up.
Dude, it was hilarious.
It was just something about Spicer that made Spicier great. Now, every one of his accounts is great, and his next account will be great. But there was something special about Sean Spicier. There was really something special about it.
Dude, because, I've been keeping up with that account since I started really getting involved with Twitter, and I've seen it go through its different iterations, and you're right, every single one of them has been awesome. And every once in a while, he would hook a big fish on one of the other ones, but I've never seen anything like this last go-round. I mean, I saw so many, like people, like, really press people were like, oh my god, you're as crazy as your boss, and he's like, yep, I am. My God, are you kidding me? And I'm literally like tweeting these people going, do you bother to check for maybe like the blue check mark or read a bio before you start going off on this guy? I got blocked by like some major people. One of them, which is funny, Gary England from Oklahoma, the former big news weather guy, apparently got taken in by that account once, and I pointed out that he should probably look for the check mark. I am officially blocked by Gary England.
Just for saying you got fooled.
Pretty much.
I mean, but the big, huge verified accounts he fools, it just cracks me up. And what I do like about how he does it is he doesn't just change the account. He starts a new account. With each press secretary, he starts a new account and leaves that one. He doesn't delete it. It just stays there in limbo and it never gets touched again. So if you go back through and do a search on Twitter of all the press secretaries, you can find the accounts. He's got an account for everyone, and he's going to start a new one. And now my goal is, I've gotten the last 3 to follow me. Now my goal is going to be, again, to get it to follow me.
Yeah, I hate you about that. You get really big accounts to follow you, and I'm like, you suck.
Sorry.
That's all right. I wasn't nearly as active on Twitter as I used to be. Now that I'm actually just kind of having fun with it and really don't care what anybody thinks anymore, I'm actually starting to get more people to follow me. So I've just figured out that I just
that's what you got to do. But you can't go as far as I do and just lose an account every month.
Well, no, dude. Let for those that may be tuning in for the first time, let's give them the real story on it. You weren't losing an account a month. You were losing an account every 15 seconds. It's like, oh, it's back.
Pretty
oh,
much.
Nope, it's gone.
For a while there.
It's like, oh, it's back. Oh,
well,
nope, it's gone.
It was funny. I'd lose an account, and then I'd make a new account, and then I'd actually get the other account back, and then I'd lose that account again. So I'd have the other account, then I'd make a backup account for that account. At one point, I had like 4 freaking accounts because I just kept losing accounts. I wasn't really doing anything wrong, was I?
Well, I see, the thing about it is Twitter has these new language rules. I think that's what gets you in the most trouble anymore is the language rules, because when you get mad, dude,
I've been much better. I'm almost at 1,000 followers.
You have. I mean, you literally have kept this account for more than 15 seconds, so that's an improvement. I mean, what are you up to now? Almost a month?
Yeah, over a month.
Over a month? But that's like a new record for you.
Like I said, I'm at like 920 followers.
Hey, you'll pass me again before you know it, and then they'll be like, you're suspended again.
Last November, I had over 5,000, but
Over 5,000? Oh, wait, that's an old bit with the wrong number. Sorry, my bad. All right, so we've got to take a really quick break, folks. We will be back here in just about 3 minutes or so. This is Robinson and Wright. I'm coming to you live right now on Friday nights right here on KLRNradio.com. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty HealthShare is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty HealthShare and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org. All right, folks, welcome back. This is Robinson and Wright. We're coming to you live from KLRNradio.com, where liberty and reason still reign, and we are just about, well, actually, we're well into the last half of the show because we took the break late, like we normally do because I'm a slacker. But anyway, so we've got just about enough time to talk about the other big major story, which was the announcement made by Senator McCain and his family today, and the dichotomy of reactions from pretty much everyone. For those of you who may be living under a rock, Senator McCain has been diagnosed with cancer. Senator McCain has been diagnosed with a very aggressive form of cancer where the 5-year survival rate is in the 30 percentile. And that is for people that are not already 70 years old. That being said...
80. He's almost 80.
Yeah, well, I couldn't remember if he was 70 or 80, so I aimed low just in case. But anyway, that being said... If anybody can beat it, that unreal cuss might be able to pull it off. But the reactions have been interesting because I have seen compassion from people I never expected to see compassion from, and I have seen hatred from people that I never expected to see hatred from. Barack Obama, of all people, tweeted out support to Senator McCain, while people in his own party...
A fantastic tweet, too, which... I didn't really read. I retweeted a quote tweet of it, but that's the closest I've ever come to retweeting Barack Obama, and it was a fantastic tweet. And I really believe he meant it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think it wasn't too.
It wasn't a. I'm just saying this thing. I believe he meant it. I absolutely believe he absolutely meant everything he said.
No, I really do too, because it's one of those things. I mean, sometimes it's hard to read emotion in print or on something like Twitter, but there are times when you can tell when somebody's being sincere. That was absolutely a sincere statement. But that's part of the thing that's been driving me crazy, because the thing that we have lost in this country, and I don't know if we're ever going to get it back, is the ability to fight for the things that we believe in and still come together when it counts. Even if we're on opposite sides of some sort of philosophical or political argument, there are times when we should be able to set those things aside and come together. Now, people are going to think that I'm stretching this, but I want to remind you that in World War II, on Christmas Eve, the Allies and the Germans stopped shooting at each other, came together, ate dinner together, exchanged presents, and then when Christmas had passed, the fighting resumed. Those are the type of things that I'm talking about that never seem to happen anymore. Nobody can put the knife down for 5 seconds. I mean, literally, like a couple of days before this announcement came out, somebody from his own party was tweeting that they wished he would die. I wonder how they feel about that tweet now.
Yeah. It's sad. I mean, that's sad, and just where we are right now is sad. I had a situation, on Twitter the other day. I mean, where I had a really good conversation going on with a guy about media, and we were going back and forth about MSNBC and CNN and Fox and everything else, and he came back to me and said, well, you know, what do you think are the good points at Fox, or who do you think are the good people at Fox? And I went through the people I thought, you know, like, I really like Brett Baer and Dana Perino, and I said Juan Williams. I said, I think Juan Williams is great. I think he's intelligent, and I think he's a very good foil when he's on shows on Fox. He's fantastic. He's good at arguing his point. Whether you agree with his point or not, he's good at arguing. So I said that. And then I have somebody basically saying, oh, look, calls himself a conservative, loves Juan Williams. Really? Is that what you gathered from that? Is that what you gathered from that? No, I'm open-minded, and I like to listen to intelligent people. If they don't agree with me, they don't agree with me. That's fine. It doesn't mean I don't like to listen to them. I'm not, basically what I said to it was, I'm not a binary thinker. I want to hear what everybody has to say. And Juan Williams articulates his arguments very well. And I really like it. I mean, he's one of my favorite people in the media right now. And it's not because I agree with him. Most of the time I don't. But I like the way he puts it forward. And he does it the way it should be done. And it's the same kind of thing. It's why can't, you know, to be honest with you, as far as a senator goes, I am not a John McCain fan. I'm not. That doesn't change how I feel about the man. As far as John McCain, the man, goes, he's a true American hero. And he should be treated as such. And immediately, everything gets politicized. I mean, tweets saying, oh, well, you know what? Good for him, because he's just trying to take health care away from everybody else, so he deserves what he's getting. Really? Is that the way it works? Is he taking health care away from 20 million people? No. Is he probably dying of a really nasty form of brain cancer? Yes. So you're going to say he deserves that because he's voting to basically put out exactly what's out there already. People will grab anything and politicize it, and I'm tired of that. The man is extremely sick. He has a wife, children, grandchildren, extended family, and friends. Have some freaking dignity and respect.
Couldn't say it any better myself. You know, it's interesting that because that's actually most of the argument that I saw. Other than flipping it back around and saying, well, let's not forget what 45, or how did most of them word it? The 45th said about John McCain. They're actually a group of people that can't even say President Trump's name. They just call him by his number. Now, if we had done that, they would be calling us racist and everything else if it was Obama. But that I guess that's a story for another day. But the interesting thing about the healthcare arguments that they make, if we leave it alone, because the CBO has recently just put out their little report, and let's not forget how dead on, not accurate the CBO was when it came to Obamacare. They've now projected that within the next 15 years, 30 some odd million people will be removed from healthcare rules, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But if we do nothing, then within about 5 years, nobody's going to have health insurance because it's all going to collapse on itself. Now, that's not to say that that's not what they want, which is why they keep wanting us to fight and argue with each other so we don't notice that that's what they want. Because if they can make the insurance industry collapse, the government has to come in, pick up the pieces, and then everybody's on single payer, and there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it. Both sides want that at this point. And some of us know it. Some of us have been screaming it for months. Nobody's listening. But at the same time, there is still a man who has spent the majority of his life serving his country in one form or another, who's been diagnosed with what is most likely a terminal illness, and people are happy about the fact that he is likely going to die. Now, I'm trying to be positive about it because, like I said, that if anybody can beat this thing, it would be that ornery old man. But the odds are not in his favor. But at the same time, he still deserves respect for the things that he has done. All of you that shouted out Donald Trump for saying what he said during the campaign have now done the exact same thing to the man that you were lambasting him for shouting down during the campaign. It's okay that you did it, but it's terrible that he did it. At least I'm being consistent. I thought it was terrible that he did it, and I think it's asinine that you've done it. I mean, that's all it takes to be a decent human being, is find consistency and stay there. Find what you believe in and stick with it. You're not always going to get everybody to agree with you 100% of the time, but if you keep staying consistent, because if it's bad when one side does it, then it's just as bad when the other side does it, then at least you're being true to yourself, and you don't have to worry about all the crap. Because that's the other thing that has been driving me crazy with this Russia collusion thing, whatever is going to come of it, blah, 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 yada, 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 is we just saw a sitting president on video several years ago make a statement about give me some time because after this is my last election. I'll have a lot more flexibility after I win this one. And you guys want to talk about Russian collusion? Now, I don't know what's going on there either because Donald Trump had a chance to start letting this die because it had started dying down. Because there were all of these nothing burgers that kept coming out and nobody could really find anything. Trump Jr. stepped out in front of the biggest thing that they thought they'd found, and it really kind of turned out to be pretty much nothing. But now Donald Trump has breathed brand new life into it by going on a temper tantrum tirade during an interview. Now, history tells us over and over again that when a sitting administration will not let some sort of a scandal die, there's something bigger or worse that they're trying to cover up. Case in point, and then I promise Dan you can have the mic again. Case in point, when Bill Clinton was in office, even though he was a disbarred attorney, he was still an attorney. He sat in front of the Senate and lied under oath instead of saying this is a private matter between myself and my wife, and it will be discussed between myself and my wife, so I plead the fifth. As a first-year law student knows that you take the fifth. He was a practicing attorney at one point. You know what came out the day that he lobbed cruise missiles at an aspirin factory? The CIA's drug involvement in the 80s was all over the news, but it was eclipsed by Bill Clinton throwing cruise missiles at an aspirin factory. So that's what I'm worried about. Because if they won't let this die, what are they not wanting us to find out?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm at the point, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm at the point where when I hear the word Russia, I just cringe. I got into this with my brother. You know, my brother, his whole thing is, well, if it's something that happened, shouldn't we know that it happened? I'm like, okay, how many stages do we need to go through? I mean, every politician out there talks to politicians in other countries, talks to people in other countries. Everybody in the Senate, everybody in Congress, and every president, and their advisors, and everybody else, they're talking to everybody. It's gotten to the point where, oh my God, this person talked to Russia. Oh my God, this person talked to Russia. This person talked to somebody in Russia. I mean, really? I'm done with it. I want it all to just go away. I don't, it's either, this is the way it needs to work. If you want to keep going after Trump for stuff that he possibly colluded with Russia with, I want every member of Congress and every member of the Senate investigated. Any one of them. I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat. If you're going to keep going at Trump like this, I want them all investigated. And I want to find out what they said to the Russian they talked to at one time or another sitting at a dinner table. I want to know it all. I want them all investigated. The end. Or just drop it and let's get on with running or ruining the country, whichever way we're going.
No, exactly. I mean, the simple fact of the matter is we already know the answer to this question. Because, yes, Russia probably tried to find a way to influence our elections. But I wonder why Russia would have tried to find a way to do that. It wasn't because they wanted one candidate or over the other. It was because they wanted to prove that we were in a weakened state. And we were, because of the policies of Barack Obama. Now, I don't know if the Trump administration had anything to do with it. I can tell you that from some of the other things that I've been digging into that I've been seeing, I think the Obama administration knew a lot more about what was going on than what they pretended to know. But we probably will never know the whole story. But at this point, what I'm saying about most of it is, does it honestly even really matter at this point? What matters at this point is, for some reason, nobody's willing to let this die. Nobody, because it literally had lost almost all of its momentum after Junior stepped out in front of this and said, look, here's the whole email chain. This is what happened. I probably would have done things differently if I had known that all of this was going to be this big of a deal later, because nobody was talking about Russia back then. And I'm thinking somebody's got dirt on my dad's opponent and we might be able to use it. And we didn't even get dirt out of it. So it really pretty much turned out to be nothing. But now, I mean, the thing that really floors me were the two things that he said in that interview. Because he said if he had known that Sessions was going to recuse himself, he would have never appointed him. That's a problem, because Sessions had to have recused himself because he was actively involved in the campaign that is currently under investigation. He didn't have a choice. So what you're telling me is you expected him to violate policy for you because you were his boss, and you're mad that he didn't. Number one, that's wrong. Number two, don't tell the guy who's investigating you where he shouldn't go. Because let me tell you what you just did. Because I have seen all kinds of people all over Twitter. Mueller doesn't have the authority to go look into Trump's businesses, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? Trump just gave him the authority. It's called reasonable suspicion. As soon as he said, and he better not do this because he doesn't have the authority, he gave him all the authority that he needed to start looking to see what he could find. And if he finds a thread to pull on, reasonable suspicion then becomes probable cause, which means then they can dig into anything they want. It's the same thing that got Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was under investigation for a very specific thing for impeachment, but he got impeached because he lied to Congress, not because of what he was originally under impeachment investigation for. The same thing is about to happen again, because for some reason Trump will not let this die. And I don't know why.
Because he's a narcissist?
I don't think it's that simple. I mean, if we weren't basically watching history replay itself from the 90s, then I would probably agree with you. But there's something going on that they don't want us to know about that isn't going to come out until years later, and we're going to look back at this and go, no wonder they were making such a smokescreen about all this stuff that really didn't matter to get the orange bluster bus out of office, because look at what was going on in the news that nobody talked about at the time. Because nobody knew about what happened. I mean, everybody suspected with the CIA in the 80s that they were involved in the drug trade. But if you talked about it, you were a conspiracy theorist, and everybody thought you were nuts. And then in the 90s, they started talking about it again, and then it died because of this. And then a movie came out like 10 years ago, and you get this little blurb at the very... Well, I don't guess it was quite 10 years ago, probably 5 or 6. There, you get this little blurb at the end that talks about the timeline of all these events, and that the dude that was the reporter that was trying to break the story was his death was ruled a suicide, even though he was shot twice in the head. Don't know anybody that's ever committed suicide that shot themselves twice in the head. And then it kept on going to give out the timeline, and it showed the pictures of Clinton sitting in the Senate being impeached, and then the pictures of the cruise missiles being lobbed at an abandoned factory. And then it said the day that the cruise missiles hit the factory was the day that every major outlet that had the information ran the story about the CIA drug trade. And it was completely eclipsed to like page 16 because of in between the Clinton scandals and his attack on those abandoned factories. You can look it up.
Yeah.
It's there, I promise.
Oh, I know. No,
that was for people listening, not you. Because right now I can hear most of the people that are listening right now going, "Oh God, Rick's got his tinfoil hat on again." Because I get that a lot in email.
Yeah, you're a real Alex Jones, Rick.
Well, everybody thinks it when I start talking about the CIA and the drug trade. That to some people, that's as much of a dog whistle as his whole, fluoride in the water turning frogs gay thing.
Oh, Alex. But I really, and I was kind of hoping for, what I want to do is I want to be able to actually pick Trump apart. Like I did with Barack Obama, like I did with George Bush. I just want to be able to pick him apart. It's hard because it's Russia, Russia, Russia. And, they complain, Trump isn't getting anything done. Well, because Trump's too busy answering questions about Russia. Now, Hillary has ties to Russia. If she was president, would MSNBC and CNN be trying to find every person that's Russian that ever talked to anybody that has anything to do with Trump?
Dude,
that's investigative news these days.
To put this in perspective, if Donald Trump is tied to Russia, Hillary Clinton is Siamese twinned to Russia. Because, she's literally had dealings with them for forever. Her husband took $500,000 to go give a speech in their country. She sold a percentage of the country's uranium to them while she was Secretary of State. But that's what makes this also...
Rick, you can't do that. You can't say that just because they did it, we can.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's what I hear constantly.
That's the problem.
I know, but that's what I hear constantly.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's because that's their only argument. But that's not what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is that whatever is going on with the Trump administration pales compared to what they've already done. But again, what concerns me, because you asked, or you said Trump can't get anything done because he's too busy answering questions about Russia. My question is, at this point, with everything that we know and the nearly year that they've been looking into this, and up to now they've pretty much found nothing, to the point where now because he's opened his mouth, they're going to start looking at his companies, and that's probably where they will find something to bury him there. And it probably won't have anything to do with Russia, but he's the one that opened the door. But my point is, if he had just shut up about it and been like, look, you guys do whatever you got to do with Russia. I didn't have anything to do with them. We're going to be over here fixing the country. And anytime anybody asked him a question about Russia, that should have been exactly what he did. Look, we have told you we've had nothing to do with them. You go dig wherever you think you need to dig, and I'm going to be over here fixing the country. We've got healthcare to deal with. We've got taxes that we need to deal with. The economy was in shambles when I got here. It's moving in the right direction now, but there are other things that I need to focus on. That's the problem, is for someone who always seems like he knows how to run a room, as president, Trump has not done a good job of running a room. As an example, something was reminded to me today. Brady, when he took over as Reagan's press sec, because in the Carter administration, and I don't really remember this, but I remember my parents talking about it, about the big difference, because in the Carter administration, it was a lot like it was under the Trump administration, which is part of the reason why they stopped televising the press briefings. It was a bunch of little kids jumping up and down, waving their hands in the air until they got called on, and everybody shouting their questions all at once and nobody waiting for turns. Brady comes in and says, look, this is how this is going to work from now on. You will sit until you're called upon. You will raise your hand. When I call upon you, you stand up, you ask your question, you sit back down. From that point forward, that was how the press pool ran. But that's the same thing. Trump should be the one handling these people, and he's not. He knows how to do it, but for some reason he won't. And I get part of the reason why he's mad, because up until 5 seconds ago, all these people were his friends. They were having him on their shows. They were using him to boost their ratings. He was using them to get his books promoted and all these other things that he was doing and all these reality TV shows. So I understand why he's mad. I understand why his feelings are hurt, because like I said, up until now, all of these people loved him. Joe Scarborough, I saw the stupidest thing I think I've ever seen this man tweet out today, where he's talking about, I've always been concerned about how Donald Trump might abuse his pardon powers for family members and friends if anything continues to come out about this. Really? You had him on your show how many times during the primary, and now you want to talk about how concerned you are about his possible abuses of power that apparently you've been concerned about this entire time? You lying hypocrite. That's what I'm talking about. But that's the problem. Trump does. I mean, that's the one thing that I hope this new comms director does. Day one, I hope, is give me your phone. You're done. We'll have other people run your Twitter. I know it's not going to happen, and I know that's not a popular thing because everybody loves the fact that the president tweets. I don't know why, because he sounds like a raging lunatic when he does. It's worse than when he goes off script on an interview. It's insanity, and it's terrible, and he needs to stop. But I hope that this new comms director, which I'm concerned about, by the way, because of some of the things that I've seen him talk about in the past, but I'm going to reserve judgment for now. I hope he wrangles this a lot better than has been done up until now, because they shouldn't be the ones allowing the press to run the narrative. They run the country, they run the narrative, period, and they haven't been doing it. They've been on defense this entire time when they should be on offense. And it's been driving me crazy, because that's the one thing that we thought was going to be different with Trump. I mean, yes, he gets them riled up. Yes, he's rope-a-doped them a few times and got them chasing their tails. But at the end of the day, they're still mopping the floor with him.
Well, yeah, this is what has totally driven me nuts about Trump. He'll have a good week. He'll have a great week. I mean, a week where, like, okay, things are starting to flow. And even if there's something I don't agree with, at least he's working on something, and he's done this and he's done that, and it's great. And then he picks up his phone, and I'm like, you just blew it, dude. You just blew it.
Do you know how many times I have thought that? I mean, there have literally been all these positive stories that have been eclipsed because he's going on a Twitter tirade. And again, that's something else that is driving me crazy. As the man who should be running the narrative, why do you not let the positive stories play out before you act like an ass? Because everybody...
I mean, if there's one thing I'll give Obama is he didn't tweet from the POTUS account. His people did. And it was always something positive. Now, Trump really doesn't use the POTUS account, and I really don't pay attention to the POTUS account. But even when Barack Obama was tweeting from his personal account, whether you agreed with what he said or not, you felt some kind of something genuine there.
You felt like it was tweeted by an adult,
something like, I mean, it was always something put forward with thought, and whether it was the direction you wanted the country to go or not, there was always something with thought in the direction he felt the country should go. And I'm really getting sick of seeing Donald Trump write fake news. We know. We get it. Put the phone down and let some of your wins gestate and become wins before you screw it up picking up your phone. And hey, I'm not one to talk, but I'm not president of the United States either.
I was going to say, if anyone should be schooling the president on Twitter decorum, I doubt it's the angry Irishman, but I get your point. All right. Believe it or not, we're actually... go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, yeah, but like I said, I'm not POTUS. I'm just dumbass Irish guy on Twitter. That's what I am.
You know what? I'm not saying this should happen, and I'm knocking on wood in hopes that it doesn't. But if this account gets suspended, that should be your new @ Just saying.
Dumbass Irish guy on Twitter.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know it won't all fit, but you could, like, find a way to do at least the dumbass Irish part or something.
Dumbass Irish guy? Yeah.
All right. So
we back up.
All right. So anyway, we have actually run into the top of the next hour at this point. So I know you've got to work tomorrow, and I know I have a bunch of stuff to do, even though we have new people that are just joining into the show. Better late than never, I guess. Welcome. But the show's just about over.
You know, when we get off the air here, my head is going to be hitting a pillow for the first time in like 42 hours.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm trying to wrap things up so you can actually get some sleep before you start snoring on air, because it will happen in a few moments if we're not careful. Anyway, all right. So why don't you remind folks where it is that they can hang out with you when you're not on the radio hanging out with me?
You can find me on Twitter at MadFeist, spelled wrong, MADFIEST. And you can find me on Facebook, Daniel Wright and Dan Wright. Still haven't. I have a really hard time. My corporate or professional account is Dan Wright, and it has kind of an @ handle like Twitter, but you can't find it by the @ handle, so I don't know why it does. But it's Dan Wright, and it's a kind of really cool kind of cartoon of me. So, see a guy with glasses and a beard. That's me, and it's a cartoon.
I think the @ is for stuff that they're planning on doing here soon. Like, I just got an update from one of the server teams that we're trying to figure out how to switch to, that Facebook is about to start a new feature because they've had such great success with their Facebook Live video that for those of us like me who keep telling the world you really don't want to see me on video, they're about to start streaming audio to Facebook pages. So I may actually, because I'd been toying with the idea of doing like the webcam things and this, that, and the other. I honestly don't think we're quite ready for that yet, only because there's a few things, like especially for the co-host shows, I'll need to figure out how to find ways to pan cameras back and forth or make sure everybody can see you guys or whatever. And I really do legitimately have a face made for radio, so I'm looking forward to this launching. I think it happens sometime next month, because we can actually start streaming stuff like straight to the KLR and Facebook page, as well as everywhere else that it already goes.
That's cool.
That will be awesome, I think. Because we really don't use the Facebook page enough, because God knows I've got a million other things I need to run, so the Facebook page isn't usually where I spend my time. But I'm thinking if we start broadcasting over there, it may start bringing some more people in, which honestly is kind of an awesome concept when you think about it, because with all of this video and audio integration with Facebook, some of these people that are just starting out aren't going to have to do half the crap that we've had to do to make this stuff work. They're just going to be able to start a Facebook page, plug stuff in, and off and running, and be like, you like the show? Come check out the Facebook page. Where's your website? We don't have one.
Hey, that's not fair.
It all goes to Facebook.
That's not fair. I'll be honest. I'm a Facebook moron. I'm not a huge fan. I like, that I communicate with, especially my personal account, a lot with family and friends that I wouldn't really be able to communicate very easily with otherwise. But I'm a Twitter guy. Can't even keep an account there. At least my Facebook page has never been suspended.
Well, this is true. Actually, I'm not going to lie, and then we really do need to get out of here. I used to hate Twitter because it was so confusing at first, and it's funny because I'll have people that I used to talk to on Facebook that are like, you're never on Facebook anymore, and I'll be like, that's because I'm usually over on Twitter. And they'll start an account, and they'll come over for like 5 seconds, and they're like, screw you, I love you, but I'm going back to Facebook. This is craziness. And I'm like, I promise it's really not.
What I try to explain to people is that it has a couple similarities to Facebook, but it's fast. Facebook is so slow. I mean, it's just slow, and your timeline is jumbled up. even more, Twitter is getting a little more into that kind of what you missed stuff.
Dude,
But,
I really hate that. I really
do.
do.
I don't need to see every post from every person that I'm friends with from 3 days ago because I missed it. I really don't.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for this particular episode of Robinson and Wright. I will be back with you live Monday night right here on KLRNradio.com. Stay tuned over the weekend. If you want to shoot over to CRNtalk.com, we'll have some episodes airing over there at 10 Eastern on both Saturday and Sunday. And, of course, other offerings airing throughout the weekend right here on the home station as well. But on that note, folks, we are going to call it a night. We've actually run a bit long. Again, for those of you that have tuned in late, thank you very much for tuning in. If you're wanting to catch the beginning of the show, if you give it a few minutes, you can actually go back and find it as a podcast. Otherwise, if you hang out for just a second, you'll also notice that another show dropped on the line about 11 minutes ago because we have run long. Either way, folks, thank you for tuning in. I do hope everybody enjoys their weekend. And just want to, again, say thoughts and prayers are with the McCain family. And if you can't have the decency to say that and still want to be a douche, do me a favor, and if we connect with each other at all on social media, just find the delete button. Really is pretty much that simple. On that note, folks, we are out.